What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Casts Campfires. I hope you're having a great week. This week, or today, we are talking about must-have camp gear. 5 things that I think you have to have. Anytime you go camping, you need these 5 things. Now, this is primarily targeted toward tent campers, car campers, people who don't have RVs or campers, right? Because you've got all the amenities of a small trailer, a small home essentially. So it's primarily for tent campers, car campers, backpackers, the people who are roughing it, right? Who are doing camping old school or off the grid kind of camping, that kind of thing. So 5 things that I think you have to have every time you go camping. It'll just make your life easier, make your camping experience better, and might even save your life. Right, so let's get right into it. Number 1, fire starter and firewood. So this isn't necessarily for cooking or warmth or survival necessarily, although it provides all of those things. For me, this is just part of the camping experience is a campfire. If you don't have a campfire, then it feels like you're just not camping, right? That's why the title of this podcast is Casts and Campfires, because that's one of my favorite parts of camping is the campfire. Just sitting around, relaxing, having a few cold drinks, just chit-chatting and just relaxing, unplugging, unwinding around the campfire and just watching it burn, right? And that's kind of one of the best parts of camping. So if you don't have some way to start that fire or firewood to keep it going, then you're going to miss out on that. Not to mention the fact that if you are roughing it, that might be your only way to cook your food. It might be your source of heat. So who knows? It might keep the animals away if you're doing some wilderness camping. Fire is such an important element or such a key element of camping that I just think you can't go without it. So you need a fire starter. You need firewood. We got caught out earlier this year camping because we took a bunch of firewood, but we didn't have it secured in a watertight storage like bin or container. And we got rained on the way to camp, and all of our firewood was essentially useless. So when we got to camp, we had to, collect a bunch of firewood. So keep that in mind as well. Take firewood, but keep it dry. So keep an eye on the weather, find a way to keep that wood dry, but make sure you have a fire starter and firewood for your campsite. It'll just make your experience all around better, in my opinion. Number 2, a headlamp. And this can be any kind of headlamp, just one that straps, to you and has a lamp on the front, a flashlight basically, that you can wear on your head. Now I know that most phones have, flashlights on them. You can carry a flashlight, you can have a lantern, some sort of illumination, that's all well and good. But I found that a headlamp is just better because it gives me both hands free. I can just put that thing on my head, turn it on, adjust the brightness, adjust the direction it's going, and then I've got both hands to do whatever I need to do. And getting around in the dark, trying to do anything in the dark, you're going to have some sort of illumination. So say something happens with your tent in the middle of the night and you need to go fix it, right? Or your campfire starts to get a little out of control and you need to go contain it. Or who knows what else might go wrong or what might happen in the middle of the night. Even if you've got to just get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, having a headlamp is just going to make that whole process that much easier and cause you less headache. So have a headlamp with good batteries in it. Make sure that the batteries are charged or you've got good batteries in it. You don't want to get out to the campsite with a headlamp and then have dead batteries or corroded or corrupt batteries or anything like that. So make sure that it's a good working one, but get a headlamp to keep around the campsite or just in your camping gear all the time. Number 3, cookware and utensils. This one kind of speaks for itself. If you're going to be cooking food, you need to have utensils. You need to have a way to cook it, and obviously cookware to cook it. We have a few cast iron, skillets and like pans and things like that we can cook in. They're super easy to maintain as long as you do it properly. They'll last forever. They're super durable. You can cook with them straight on the fire. You don't have to, keep them out of the flames. You can just throw them straight on the fire and cook with them. So I would recommend cast iron as far as your cookware is concerned, and then get some utensils. What I would do is just go to Walmart, and in the kitchen section, usually there's some really cheap plastic, dinnerware, plates, bowls, cups, little packets of utensils, fork, spoon, and knife, and they're all super cheap. I want to say like 50 cents to $1 for some of these things, and you can get everything you need for your dinner table for pretty cheap. Just at Walmart with plasticware, and it's easy to clean and rinse off. We just keep a little tub and with soapy water in it, just wash as you go so that the dishes obviously don't pile up. But keep some sort of cookware and utensils in your camping gear. That way you can cook your food. Now, if you pack a bunch of food that you don't need to cook, and that's kind of your thing when you go camping, fine. That's more power to you. That's a great way to go. But if you're going to be cooking any food, you're going to have cookware and utensils. So make sure you've got that in your kit with your supplies. Number 4, first aid kit. You don't need it until you need it, right? And the worst case scenario is that you need it, but when something does happen, it's good to have a first aid kit around, just even a simple one, right? Walmart sells a really simple one. You can get it for like less than $10 or something like that. And it has a ton of different first aid supplies in it, just basic first aid supplies. Even if you just have bandages, and that's pretty much it. Bandages like Neosporin, Q-tips, medical tape, just the bare minimum, the basics and the essentials. Get some sort of basic first aid kit, so that if you're on a hike and you trip and fall and cut yourself, you can address that and take care of it while you're out and presumably away from civilization, or away from maybe even cell service or emergency services or anything like that. So having a first aid kit, number one, it will also just give you some peace of mind knowing, hey, I've got some things. If something goes wrong, I've got a little kit that I can kind of take care of myself. But then when you do need it, you have those supplies to be able to actually do it and actually take care of yourself. So get yourself a first aid kit. And the final thing might be something that's kind of slept on. None of these are super, revolutionary. You're not listening to these going, oh yeah, I never thought of that before. But this one, maybe you didn't. And it's just simple trash bags. I can't tell you the number of times that we always take trash bags, but I can't tell you the number of times that we have gone to a campsite and just set up and started doing our thing, and then gone, oh no, we've got a pile of trash here and we haven't gotten the trash bag out and set up yet. It's how it goes. You just accumulate trash wherever you go. Even if you're just doing some super minimalist camping, chances are you're still going to have trash, and you're still going to need to dispose of that properly instead of just throwing it around and making a mess everywhere and littering all over the place. So you need to have some sort of way to store that, just trash bags, Walmart bags, any kind of way to store that so that you can properly dispose of it, whether it's a dumpster at the campground or just in your car and back at your house or wherever. Make sure you have some trash bags so that you can properly dispose of your garbage instead of just littering all over the campsite. So there you go, guys. 5 must-have pieces of gear, I guess you would call it. 5 must-have camping gear pieces that I think you should never go camping without. If you're tent camping, car camping, backpacking, whatever you're doing, you need these 5 things in order just to make your experience enjoyable, make it easier, but also just to be able to do the basic things you want to do while you're at the campsite, right? Have a campfire, move around and do things in the dark, cook your food, take care of yourself if something bad happens, and then clean up after yourself. You need these 5 things. So get yourself these 5 things, put them in your camping kit or your rucksack, or because all of these things will fit, well, maybe not a big pile of firewood, obviously, but your fire starter for sure. But all of these things will fit in just a good size hiking backpack even. So get yourself a backpack, fill it up with this stuff, and then have yourself a good time the next time you go camping. Guys, thanks for checking out another episode of Casts and Campfires. We will see you on the next one.